Hello julle. Good evening guys, or good day. This is the second video that I'm doing in the series on solid geometry. Dis die tweede tekening in die reeks oor vaste liggame. Dit is graad 12, bladsy 65, waarmee ons besig is uit die Jpegd boek. So, indien jy nie die boek by jou het nie, is dit geen probleem. Jy kan net die afmetings gebruik wat op die bladsy reeds vir jou gegee is, en dan kan jy baie maklik, net met 'n gewone metkundige stelletjie kan jy hierdie werk nog steeds baie maklik doen. Goed, hierdie bladsy wat julle nou waarneem is die volledige vraag met die ware vorm. En hierdie ene gaan ons 'n bietjie gou kyk. Nou, hoe begin ek hierdie tekening? En julle sal waarneem dat daar sekere inligting voorsien is, maar daar's baie goed wat jy op jou eie moet gaan teken. Indien jy nog nie na die eerste video gekyk het nie, gaan asseblief terug daarna en maak seker dat jy die basiese inligting rondom hierdie werk verstaan voordat jy probeer om die tekening verder te doen. Goed, julle, ek het net vinnig weer hierdie voorwerp, die fisiese vaste liggaam hier geplaas, dat julle kan sien wat hier aangaan. Dit is my boaansig, daar kan julle sien is my vooraansig, en omdat ek van die linkerkant af kyk, gaan ek dan ook kry my linkeransig wat hierso gaan lê. En let op, hierso is twee vlakke wat ek van die kant af sien, want dit is 'n seskant, en hierso neem ek 3 vlakke waar. So die 3 vlakke wat jy hier waarneem is hierdie 3. So these 3 surfaces that you guys see are here closest to you looking from this side, and that is what is visible over here. If you look from this side, which is the left side of the object, this is what you would see in this view. So although this is the top view, this is the same 2 surfaces that are visible here, and you are also seeing them over there. I think this should give you guys a lot of clarity as to what's going on here. Obviously, this section is already done here, so we're going to get to that in a moment, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. But before we do that, the first important thing is step 1 would be, if you start with any solid geometry drawing, you're always going to start with the view in which you see the shape of the object that you are drawing, the main shape. So let's say, for instance, it doesn't matter how they swiveled this thing. They could have turned it in this direction. They could have turned it in an angular direction. It doesn't matter. But I will always start with a view where I can see the real shape of this object. So in other words, it's a hexagon. So it doesn't matter where this view would be. I'm going to start with this view. Why? Very simply because I do not know what the distance from that point to this point would be. So for instance, let's say if I start in this view and I don't have that measurement, I won't be able to complete the drawing. So you're always going to start in the view that shows you the shape. So in this case, the hexagon. Now, this is grade 10 work, but for those of you guys who forgot about it, when I'm drawing any solid object, there's a quick formula to remember this by, and that formula is basically 360 degrees divided by the amount of corners or sides of the object. So if we're working with a hexagon, we have to divide it by 6, and that equals 60 degrees. Now this will be the outside base angle of this object if you're going to draw it from a flat line. Okay, so basically this works out on a 60 degree. This is the 60 degree angle on the triangle. This is also 60 degrees. Please note also that it's an equilateral object, so all the sides are equal. So if this one is 36, that one is going to be 36, etc. And you guys can test it. Now I quickly want to show you with a hexagon. This side is the same as that one, is the same as that one, is the same actually as this, because this is made up out of equilateral triangles. So that distance is exactly the same as this one, is exactly the same as this one, and that basically just repeats quite a few times over here. Okay, so you guys will see that all those lengths are the same, even the one in the middle. And because I know this, I can then either draw a hexagon from a triangle, but the method that I like the most is the one where we use the triangles. In other words, if I'm going to draw, because you can see this, because the line in the middle line of this object, the one side is actually 36. Okay, so if you guys are going to measure it off there on your board and you're going to take the 36, that is 36, and on the other side it would also be 36. So you're going to start off by basically drawing a circle for yourself, and that circle has got a radius of 36. In other words, that is the 36 that you see over there. Guys, very important. That is step 1. Step 2 is you're going to start with a horizontal line if it's orientated like this. In other words, that straight line in the middle. It could also be turned in a different orientation. In other words, it could be turned like this, but then obviously you're going to start with a vertical line. It's now a horizontal line. So then where it cuts there on the side, I just start and I mark it off at the top and bottom. I go to the other side, I do exactly the same thing. I mark it off over there, I mark it off over there. I've got my 6 points and I simply join them. Guys, whichever way you want to do it is fine, as long as the angles there are 60 degrees. Okay, so that's super important. Okay guys, then the next thing is, after you've drawn this view, which is just going to be basically this without any sections, now you're going to have to draw this view. So you can leave that space there, a centimeter and a centimeter, or 10 millimeters. Obviously this space is really not that important, because the only thing that it's going to influence, it's going to move this slightly further away or closer, but it's not going to have an influence on your answer. Alright, so that's the first thing. So if you leave this open, you're going to simply draw these lines up. You're going to draw the baseline. They tell us in the question that it's 70 millimeters high. So you're going to put your 70 millimeters high over there. You are going to complete that view. And because this is a hexagonal pyramid that is in a hexagonal prism, it's not a problem, because the inside bottom point, which is that one, is going to be right in the middle. So if you guys go, you can simply draw that line up to the base there, to the bottom, and then you can put in your hidden lines. Guys, this is so important. If you don't put those lines in, it's impossible to complete this drawing. Guys, then once you have these two views, you can then get your normal left view. Now, please note again, this is a section view, right? So before you can do any sections, you have to draw the normal views. In other words, you're going to have to draw a normal top view like the one that you see here. You're going to have to draw a normal left view like the one you see over here, which also means is that you're going to have to draw in the hidden lines in this view as well. Okay, I hope you guys understand that. So just quickly, for those of you guys who might be unsure how to do a section, I'm going to quickly elaborate on that. So if you get something like this, especially in grade 12, they're going to give you more than one object. So in this case, they give you, it's actually two objects. It's a hexagonal prism, but it's also a hexagonal pyramid, both 2 in 1. So what I would do is I would handle it as two different questions. So you do the prism on its own, which is a normal grade 10 object that you can section. And then after you've done that, then you handle the pyramid as a separate question. That's how I would do it. You can do it differently, but that's how I would do it. That just makes a lot more sense. You can focus on one thing and you finish it. Okay, so first of all, here's my hexagonal prism, all the lines. Please, guys, make sure that you've properly numbered it. If you don't have numbers, you are going to struggle. Trust me on this. I've been doing these drawings for many, many years. I still number my views, and it helps me tremendously, especially if you're under pressure in an exam. You might think, I understand what's going on here, but in an exam or in a test, you are under pressure. You need to work quickly. You don't have that much time to rethink everything. So you need to have numbers to assist you. The numbers are your best friend. I'm just quickly, once again, going to show you how this number system works. So it's a 1, 1, which means that there's 2 1s over here. If you want to make it a 1 and an A, you can do it, or a 2 and a B, you can do that. So it all depends on what works the best for you. as long as you've got a numbering system. Okay guys, so the section, let's get to that. So number 1, you guys can see that we are cutting through the corner there, and I'm cutting through the whole object right up to the top there. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is I'm cutting through a lot of parts. Once again, I'm not going to focus on the pyramid now on the inside. I'm just working on the physical prism. Okay, so there's my cutting points. This would mean, as I mentioned earlier, that because I'm doing a sectional top view, the part on the arrow section, which is the B and the B, will fall away. This whole area here will be taken away. So what I'm going to focus on are the lines that I'm actually cutting. Now please note, number 1 is right here at the bottom. On a prism it's very easy because that point 1 simply means that I'm cutting down there at the bottom, but it's down there, but it's still on the same line. Then I'm going to cut a little bit higher up, but check, I'm cutting in the front, but also at the back. It's not only 1 point, it's actually 2 points because it's 6 and 2. The same with 5 and 3, but then the last one is actually point 4. Guys, I'm going to cross over to Afrikaans now. So wat nou gaan gebeur is, my eerste punt merk ek, my tweede punt gaan letterlik op dieselfde lyne lê. 6 en 2 gaan merk ek net af. Omdat dit 'n prisma is, gaan dit geen verskil maak nie. Dit gaan net 'n bietjie hoër of 'n bietjie laer wees, maar dit is op dieselfde punt. Dieselfde met 5 en 3. En my laaste punt is punt 4. Nou dit lyk vir jou soos dieselfde 6kant, maar wat jy eintlik het is iets wat so afgaan. So daarso as julle sien, ek gaan dit net vir julle inskryf. Daarso is punt 4, daarso is punt 3, punt 2, hierso is punt 1, daar's punt 6 en punt 5. Ek wil weer eens meneer Cronje baie dankie sê wat hierdie pragtige tekening vir ons voorberei het met al die kleure. En ek hoop dit help julle verskriklik baie, en dan het ek 'n modelletjie gemaak wat saam met hierdie tekening gaan net om vir julle dit bietjie meer prakties te maak, dat julle dit fisies kan sien. Goed, nou die verdere gedeelte wat nou gaan gebeur is, ek het nou klaar my buitepunte gemerk. Nou gaan ek en ek gaan fokus slegs op een ding. Ek gaan nou fokus op die binnekant, en dit is die piramide in die binnekant. Nou die piramide word gesny deur dieselfde snylyn op hierdie punte. Nou weer eens, ek het 'n lyn 1 wat hierdie lyn is wat hier afloop. Goed, as julle kyk in my boaansig, dis lyn 1 wat daar in die middel afgaan. Dis lyn 1. Dan het ek 'n lyn 2 wat hierso lê. Jy het aan die ander kant 'n lyn 6. Jy het aan die agterkant het jy dan natuurlik vir 3, jy het vir 5 hierdie kant en jy het vir 4 in die middel. Ek dink dit maak dit redelik maklik om dit te sien wat hier aangaan. So jy gaan nou 'n hele vormpie hê wat hier gesny word in die middel. Goed. So my eerste snypunt is op 1. Dit is baie maklik, dit is 1 0. So 0 is die toppunt en 1 is daai punt daar. So ek kyk waar hy sny, ek projekteer hom loodreg af. En dis hoe ek weet, hy sny daar, want dit is lyn 01 is dieselfde lyn. Dan gaan ek na my volgende lyn toe, nou let op die 6 en 2. So die 2 is in die agterkant, die 6 is in die voorkant, 5 en 3 werk op presies dieselfde wyse, en my laaste punt is ook punt 4, wat op dieselfde plek sny as die prisma. Guys, but now, there's another problem. How do I now connect? How do I know how to connect these points? Now what I sometimes did is I wrote for myself the same numbers on the section line as well. So 5 and 3, 4 of course there at the top. This makes it easy to, as you bring this down, make a little 1 with a circle. And then you know that those are the section points. Reason for this is this makes it easier when you have to connect the physical points with lines. Then I know it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 back to 1. I think that would make it a lot easier for you guys to do it that way. And then obviously my lines that go to 0 will all be visible because it's open at the top. You guys can clearly see it there. Okay, so the next thing I quickly want to mention is what then about the rest? All the other lines will be erased, as you see, from that section point to 6. Now, how do I know how to do that? What I simply do is I go to any line in this one, line 1, from the section point to the top there. This part would fall away. So from point 1 up to that point 1 will be erased. And so you just erase all those lines, and then after that you section at a 45-degree angle. Now for the people who are unsure about 45 degrees, guys, it needs to be this angle, okay? 45. Make sure that it's 45, not any other angle, okay? Same thing here, and equally spaced. Now there's one tip I want to give you if you guys don't know about this, or if nobody taught you this. I'm going to give you a quick tip. If you are under pressure and you quickly want to hatch in the exams, what you do is before the exams, actually take your compass. If you've got one with 2 sharp points, you can do that as well, and you put it on the side here, and you scribe a line in there on the bottom of your triangle, and you decide what size you make it. Now you guys, you can clearly see, I hope you can see it, there's a line scribed into my triangle. Now that makes it easy when I want to draw a line. If I draw, for instance, a line over here and I move it on, I just move it onto this scribed line, and I draw another line, I just move it on again onto that line. In that way I can very quickly equally space my hatching, and I can make different lines of different spacings if I want to make it a bit quicker. Guys, now I hope this helps you a lot. Once I've done this, I can do the same thing in the left view. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here for a moment, and in the next video I'm going to cover the sectional left view, just to make this a bit shorter. I hope you guys have a great day further.